Hello and welcome to another episode of Top Deck, the series where we take a look at some of the leading TCG deck lists, and on today we are taking a look at Stephen Roberts' first place YOS 5 deck list. This is a very exciting list that was used to beat Virtual World in the YOS 5 final, which you may have seen on DB Grinder, you may have seen on my own channel. If you're interested, you can check them out. Just give them a quick look up, or you can head into the description for links to the various places where you can watch the final, depending on who you want the commentary from. And at the end of the YOS 5 livestream day 2, we actually had a discussion with Stephen about the list itself, so if you want that information, head over there. But today we are doing a full breakdown of the list, running through the card by card, getting some extra information from Stephen about the individual rounds that he played, and bringing you guys all that good information. So this is Invoked Eldlich Dogmatika, and we kick off with the Dogmatika engine: 1 Fleur-de-Lis, triple Ecclesia, triple Nadir Servant, and 1 Punishment. A very minimal engine, no Maximus. The only 1 Fleur just means it's very consistent to get to Fleur and Trap, and that is pretty much all that the engine is doing for you, apart from setting up your Titaniclad or setting up your Untus or whatever you want from your extra deck into the graveyard. Then we'll do the hand traps at the end. We'll go on to the next engine. So triple Alistair, double Invocation, triple Meltdown. There is also 1 Terraforming to go with this as well. Again, very consistent access to the engine, but not overloading on the Invocation, because if you do get hand trapped, you can kind of just always fall back on another engine. That's the thing about this deck. There's so many cards that start off your plays that don't rely on having your normal summon as well as some other stuff. So even if your Alistair gets hand trapped, you can still turn it into a Link monster and then bring out the Ecclesia, that kind of thing. Or you could just play your Nadir Servant, or you could go straight into your Eldlich engine. That's the real versatility of the deck. It doesn't just lose if your normal summon gets hand trapped. For the Eldlich engine, there's 2 Golden Lord, 3 Eldland, 1 White Destiny. A lot of people have been playing black recently. White giving you the option to bring back from graveyard as a quick effect seems really nice. Definitely something that people haven't been using so much, and it's definitely one worth checking out. Then 1 Golden Land Forever. We saw this, I believe, in the final. Very, very cool to see, and definitely worth giving a shot. Then a triple Conquistador, triple Scarlet Sanguine, and double Hakero. That just means that because there are so few decks where banishing from the graveyard is really impactful, even against Virtual World, where banishing from the grave has some value, that does just kind of make the trap live and give them something they can shuffle about with Nyan Nyan, so it doesn't necessarily harvest a lot of value compared to the other traps. So definitely worth considering just playing 2. For the hand traps, we have 8 hand traps, so double Nibiru, triple Imperm, and triple Ash Blossom. During the interview at the end of the final, he did just mention that Nibiru is really impactful for your Virtual World matchup, and Ash he decided to main because it's just so generic, and with this kind of format you're never really too sure what you're going to face against. Quite a lot of decks will suffer from an Ash Blossom in the right place. For the extra deck, we've got double Macabre, 1 Purgatrio, 1 Orgades, 1 Titaniclad, 2 Nets or Intus, 1 Liber, 1 Gangaridai, 1 Pleiades, very easy to make with this deck, 1 Omega, 1 Blackluster Soldier, Soldier of Chaos. This is really impactful and just comes up in a lot of random scenarios. 1 Borg. There are weird scenarios where you have like Lord Trap on board, and then you need to get the Lord off the field and then bring it back again to do game-winning damage. So that's kind of one of the great things that Blocker gives you. Otherwise you can just discard cards to get things going. Then there's 1 Almirage and 1 Secure Gardener as well. For the side deck, we've got 1 Nibiru, triple Gamma, 1 Driver, triple Droplet, double Cyclone, 1 Duster, triple Judgment, and 1 Imperial Order. Judgment coming in clutch in the final. And the others just sort of put in value. The Droplet is really impactful in this kind of build where there are so many cards you don't mind discarding. Or sending to the graveyard even. Even from the field you can send these guys, so Droplet puts in a lot of work in those positions. An interesting one is you can side in the Gamma versus the VFD decks, where they don't play around the Gamma after game 2, So that one's an interesting one there. And then the third Nibiru, just because it is so impactful in certain matchups. So very nice to see. And of course you can just, sit on your order sometimes. The number of spells is not horrendous. It's only, is that 13 spells? So really not too bad if you shut yourself off from access to those cards with your one order, given how impactful it can be versus certain opponents. So let's get some extra information from Stephen. We'll kick off with the rounds. So 6 rounds Swiss, followed by top 8. He had 2 losses in Swiss, but they were to good players, so he ended up in top cut. Round 1, Dogmatika, Invoked Eldlich, Shadol, like a full combo of all of the possible control lists here, going 2-1 there. Against Pure Zodiac, winning 2-0, Dogmatika Eldlich winning 2-1, Dragonlink 1-2, Dragonlink 2-1, and Virtual World 1-2. So while we can't say definitively that Virtual World is a bad matchup, we know from Stephen's comments that you kind of need to see a Nibiru or something really impactful in your hand in order to win that, or for them to brick, which can happen too. The Dragon Link one is a bit more back and forth from the looks of things, and then the Dogmatika Eldlich one, this list kind of just wins that one because your grind game is so good there. For the top 8, he won the Virtual World matchup 2-1 in top 8, he won the Infernoble matchup in top 4 2-1, and then in the finals again versus Virtual World, winning 2-1, so it looks like this deck does actually have an alright matchup versus Virtual World, winning 2 of them, and it can pull off some really crazy stuff, as we did see in the final as well. If we look at the siding strategies, so the cards that go in and come out, against Virtual World going first, you've got the Nibiru, Judgment, and Order coming in. I think they're all super impactful there. And then coming out, the Imperm, White Destiny, and the Terraforming. Fair enough, you don't really need your Alistair engine to be the driving force here. You'd rather get your traps off. So I think that's fair enough. And then for going second, again, Nibiru comes in. Gamma Driver helps you to push through particular boards and stop them getting too much momentum going, which is really important. And then coming out, Imperms, the White Destiny, and then 1 Ecclesia, 1 Invocation, 1 Wakaria, so you slightly reduce the consistency of some of your engines, but given that you have a 6th card, I think this is the point we've made before a few times. When you go second, you have an extra bit of consistency increase from that 6th card, so you generally aren't too worried about losing a little bit of consistency based on your deck count changing. For the Eldlich variants, the Cosmic comes in, Judgment comes in, the Order comes in. I think Order is an interesting one there. I'm not sure how impactful it is, I guess it depends on the build that you face against, but certainly shutting off cards like Nadir's Servant can be really big. Shutting off their Cosmics when they're going to try and hit your back row can be really good as well. And then it's very similar for going second, it's like you put in the Harpy's Feather Duster to start breaking the boards there. For combo decks, going first, you want your Nib, you want your Judgment, you want your Order, same stuff coming out as before, and then going second, the stuff that comes out really varies depending on what deck it is, but you do generally want the Gamma there on top of your Nibiru, and sometimes the Droplet he says, but I suppose it does depend on how oppressive the end board is really. For Dinosaurs, obviously there's no Lancia here, and no DD Crow either, so you kind of just win in different ways. So going first, your Judgment and Order are really impactful, but going second, you do have the Droplets, because depending on what board they end up making, just like Dropleting their full board could win you that matchup, which is really cool. So definitely a good option to have there. But again, we see the White Destiny coming out, and the Imperm, and actually the Golden Land Forever as well. Not going to need it when you're going second, it's just less likely to come up. So that has been it for this list. Let us know what you think in the comment section. Are you interested in trying out Stephen's list, potentially winning your own event? There is a full download link in the description so you can grab it and start playing right away, or if you're interested in catching up on the YOS 5 livestream or any of the matches, including the final in which we saw Stephen take on Tristan and emerge victorious, then you can check those out on the YuGiOh channel as well. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.